Hello, I'm Tim Moody, President and CEO of Pan Global Resources. We have an advanced copper discovery in the Iberian Pyrite Belt in Spain. We also have some other projects, but currently our Escacena project, where we've made our discovery, is our main project. And I think we're positioned to be one of the few companies with a new copper discovery that could be brought into production in the next decade, when copper prices are expected to be climbing more rapidly. All right, so just a few brief highlights. Really underpinning the company's value has been our La Romana copper, tin and silver discovery. This project, we first drilled it in about 3.5 years ago. It's now growing, continuing to grow. It's got lots of upside still. It's open in particularly along strike, but also down dip. It's got very favourable metallurgy and a number of other favourable aspects as well. We're very advanced now in our resource modelling. But not only is there upside at the discovery, but we have many other targets in our property package where we think the potential for additional discoveries is very high. In fact, we may be at the beginning of another discovery with one of the targets we're drilling currently. We announced a 20,000 metre drill program at the beginning of the year. We're near the completion of that. We've added more copper to our discovery, and we are, I think, making progress in terms of making another discovery. Our location, we're in the Iberian Pyrite Belt in southern Spain. This is a famous mineral belt. There's a lot of international mine operators, 7 big operating mines. It's a very established mine permitting area, and it's a very favourable location to be mining and exploring. Add to that, we have a very experienced board of directors and management team, where we've got a huge depth of experience from both exploration right through to mine production, as well as M&A. So we could take the project all the way through to development. Add to that, we are continuing to look at other opportunities. In terms of our cash position, we've been a well-financed company for a number of years now. We began this year with an $8.5 million exploration budget, which is fully funded. And importantly for investors, more than 80% of all of our dollars go in the ground in the Spanish projects. Importantly, I think exploring for copper, it gives us an advantage, and having a new copper discovery at this time is somewhat unique. New discoveries are pretty rare these days, but when you consider that we have a copper discovery in a favourable location in Europe, where copper has already been added to the critical minerals list, I think that really gives us a big advantage going forward. So where are we? Our Escacena project, where we've made our discovery, is at the eastern end of the Iberian Pyrite Belt, this sort of big metal producing area. It's about 250 kilometres long, extending from just outside of Seville almost to from about 250 kilometres in the direction of Lisbon. There, as I said, there are 7 big operating mines in the belt. It's been more or less continuously mined for nearly 2,000 or 3,000 years. But there are major operators there today, including Lundin, Sandfire, First Quantum, and others. And it's very, very actively explored. Freeport has a smelter about 70 kilometres from our project at Huelva, and our project's about 30 minutes drive just outside of the city of Seville. So just zooming in on our project area, the yellow outline here is our Escacena project. It's about 5,700 hectares. Our La Romana discovery is in the south, shown with the red oval. So this just shows the proximity of our project to some other sort of operating mines and development projects nearby. So about 23 kilometres off to the northwest of us, Atalaya are mining a large open pit copper mine. This is the site of the world's largest volcanogenic massive sulfide deposit. And they have a a large open pit copper mining operation. They mine grades at about 0.39% copper. And then right next door to us are two old open pit mines. These were formerly mined by Boliden for copper, lead, and zinc. These are now owned by Grupo Mexico, and they're looking to recommence mining commencing with an underground mine beneath the Los Frailes open pit. And construction, last I heard, was anticipated to commence sometime before the end of this year. And then further to the east is First Quantum. They're about 12 kilometres from our project area. This is the site of one of the highest grade open pit copper mines in the world. They're now in the process of transitioning to underground. So yeah, we're in an excellent location and gives us, I think, a unique advantage. This is a gravity anomaly map. Gravity is a exploration tool that has been very successful in the Iberian Pyrite Belt. The Los Frailes deposit, you can see the anomaly off to the east there. That deposit was a 70 million tonne ore body discovered by drilling that gravity anomaly. The Las Cruces ore body to the east, that was also discovered by drilling a gravity anomaly, as was the giant Neves Corvo mine that's being operated by Lundin to the west. And our La Romana discovery is this gravity anomaly here. And it just again further emphasised the importance of this tool. Now we combine the gravity geophysics with other exploration tools such as helicopter electromagnetics, mapping, soil geochemistry, and so on to help prioritise these targets. But importantly, this map shows us that we have many other targets, most of which are as yet untested, and why I believe that we have the potential to make additional discoveries as well. So earlier this year, we achieved access to a large farm which we've been negotiating for some time. Now, importantly, what's held us back from publishing a resource on our La Romana discovery has been access to the western extension of that discovery. So getting access to this large farm a few months ago has given that access that we need. So we've already commenced drilling on what we call our Romana West target, but this area also gives us access to a number of other big anomalies. Now, this area hasn't been explored since the early 1980s when Exxon did some preliminary exploration work. So I think we've got, again, further potential here to grow not only our La Romana discovery, but make additional discoveries. So this just zooms in on our La Romana discovery area. This shows the red outline is the 0.2% copper grade shell. This is currently defined by about 160 drill holes, with mineralisation coming to surface in the south and dipping moderately to the north. And it coincides with that sort of brown blob on the map, which is a gravity anomaly. And importantly, the mineralisation extends for 1.2 kilometres and is very much open from near surface to the west in the direction of this other brown feature here, which is another big gravity anomaly. We can see potential to grow the discovery by another 800 metres. So we've commenced drilling in that direction of these old mine workings a few months ago, and we expect to report the first results from that drilling very soon. But we're very encouraged with the results we're getting so far. So this just again further emphasises the mineralisation potential. Our discovery is open. The deposit has what they call metal zonation. In the east, it is characterised by lead and zinc, then progressing further west into more copper, and then as we go further west again into more copper and tin, with tin apparently increasing as we go further west. But this metal zonation shows the system is still open towards the west in the area that we're currently drilling. The figure in the middle is an alteration image as well. So the central area is the red mineralisation, copper mineralisation, surrounded by a strong chlorite alteration, and then further outboard of that a sericite zone. So this also shows that the mineralisation is open to the west and is likely to continue. It also means the mineralisation is open down dip as well. So looking at some cross sections through the discovery. So first, a couple of things to note here. It's very flat topography with just a very thin layer of cover over the top. And then in addition to that, look, it's a very simple geometry. 35 to 40 degrees dip. That's ideal for an open pit. In addition, you see some of the highest grades and greatest thicknesses of the mineralization closest to surface. So that's all very favourable when it comes to mining, because it means you're into your highest grade copper mineralization early on, so your payback is faster. So the section on the cross section on the right here, again, shows not only the central main copper zone, but also shows additional copper mineralization, both the hanging wall and footwall, all of which would potentially fall within an open pit. So looking again at another section, this is more in the center of the discovery area. This is a very thick section of mineralization with copper over about 50 to 70 meters thickness. Again, showing that very simple geometry with some of the bigger thicknesses and highest grades closest to surface. A few months ago, we reported the first what they call lock cycle metallurgical tests for copper. These are tests which most closely simulate what you might expect in a real mining situation. The results were excellent. We got copper recoveries of 86 to 90%. We also had very good copper concentrate grades from 24 to 29%. These are excellent results compared to the other mining operations in the area. And in addition to that, and somewhat uniquely, we have no deleterious minerals to worry about, and also the potential here for payable silver in the concentrate as well. So, and another positive finding was that the grain size of the mineralization is much coarser than what is typical of the Iberian Pyrite Belt, where most of the other mines would have to sort of grind to, say, 10 to 40 microns. We're looking at a grind size commencing at about 106 microns. Now, given that about 30% of the operating costs at the other mines is generally related to electricity, and most of that is due to fine crushing and grinding of the rock. If you have coarser grained ore, that means you may not have to grind as much. So that's a potential energy saving, and so that's a big positive for our La Romana discovery. And really, so when you add everything up in terms of what we've got at our Escacena project and our La Romana discovery, we're in a great location, more like a brownfield environment with other mines nearby. Add to that copper being on the critical minerals list, which will bring other benefits to the project, particularly in terms of fast tracking, permitting, and so on. But you also look at the other aspects which help to de-risk the project. Near surface mineralization, very simple geometry, ideal for an open pit, excellent metallurgy that I just discussed, etc. So this just points to the potential to have a quite low cutoff grades, and that means that gives us the opportunity to push the pit limits much further than would normally be the case. So we're already quite advanced in our modelling of the deposit. You can see the figure on the right. We're sort of simulating pit designs and so on. We also commenced environmental baseline work last year, so we're sort of getting ahead of things in advance of putting out a resource. And we have other ongoing metallurgical test work underway, particularly looking at the tin metallurgy. So we expect to report the tin metallurgy results sometime before the end of this year, as well as what they call variability tests, where we look at the variation in the metallurgical recovery of the different important metals across the potential deposit. So just stepping back now and looking at why we believe that La Romana is not the only discovery we will make in this area. And typically these types of deposits occur in clusters. So in other words, if you find one, there's a very strong likelihood you'll find another. So this figure here just compares our Escacena project at the same scale as the Neves Corvo mine camp, which is the figure on the right here. And Neves Corvo is a great example. There's 7 different ore bodies that make up that cluster. And as I showed with the gravity anomaly earlier, and on this figure, we have many other targets. With this in mind, I think it just further emphasises the high probability that we will make additional discoveries in this in our Escacena project. So this is a figure that just compares our La Romana discovery and depth to mineralisation, and compares it with some of the other active mines and advanced exploration projects in the Iberian Pyrite Belt. So here's our Escacena project in green, with copper mineralisation from surface extending now to more than 400 metres depth, and it's still open. And you compare that with some of the other operating mines. So you have Las Cruces, where the top of the ore body was 150 metres below surface. So they had to remove 150 metres of barren cover before they got into payable mineralisation. And then you compare that with the 3 underground mines that Matsa or Sandfire are currently operating. They're currently mining between 400 and 800 metres depth, and they have exploration going on to more than 1,000 metres. And then you look further west at Lundin's mining operation at Neves Corvo, currently mining at depths of 1.2 kilometres, and they are exploring now to more than 1.5 kilometres depth. So, look, we have a really unique advantage here. Not only are finding near-surface copper mineralisation becoming more difficult these days, this for us means that we've got something that is cheaper to drill, potentially cheaper to mine, and it just further emphasises the potential as we start to explore deeper in this area. So just looking at some of the ongoing exploration we've got going at the moment. So as I mentioned earlier, we're drilling at what we call our Romana West target. So this is the potential western extension of our La Romana discovery, where we think we could potentially grow the deposit another 800 metres. This is an area with some historical mine workings. And this picture just shows the copper mineralisation coming to surface. So our drilling that's underway at the moment is progressively moving towards this area, and I expect before the end of the year we'll have got our first drill holes beneath these mine workings. But it's further evidence that the copper is continuing, and La Romana discovery is likely to grow. So this is just zooming again, another image of our La Romana discovery. This is a gravity anomaly map. This is the black dots here where most of the drilling has been so far, 160 drill holes defining copper mineralisation, as I showed earlier, over about 1.2 kilometres of strike length. And here's some of the new gravity information in this farm that we recently got access to. So we've just begun drilling this western half of this gravity anomaly, and as I mentioned earlier, we expect to have the first few results from this drilling as we progressively move from east to west with the drill rig. And we have about a 6,000 metre drill program underway there with about 20 to 25 drill holes currently planned. That will test about 500 metres of additional strike potential. And that's really, if those holes show the mineralisation continues, that we're really looking at some deposit that is continuing to grow in significance. But the exploration information is also showing some additional satellite targets and the potential that it may grow beyond the 500 to 800 metres that we're currently looking to test with the drill rig at present. Some pictures of the drill core from this new drilling at Romana West, some chalcocite mineralisation. In this case, it looks to be pretty high grade. This is some of the tin mineralisation. This is a mineral called cassiterite, and some massive sulfide as well. So, this is very positive from this first drilling as we start to test that western extension of our discovery. So another target that we've been drilling is called Kenyatta Honda. We've only really just begun testing this target. It's another big gravity anomaly. We did some IP geophysics earlier this year, coincident with an old mine tunnel, and we drilled holes 3 and 4 in the first part of the year, and we hit intervals of sort of 13 metres with copper and gold mineralisation, with about 6 metres of nearly 1% copper, up to 1.5 grams gold, 5 metres at 2.7 grams gold in hole 4. So we decided to do 3 follow-up drill holes, some large step-out holes testing 3 different geophysical features. And hole 5 we reported just recently, which tested a gravity anomaly, which is shown here. We intersected 20 metres at about 0.5% copper, again with some gold, including a high-grade section, 5 metres at 1.3% copper and 0.5 gram gold. So this drilling is all just on one section at present. And as this map shows, that drilling is just on the far eastern end of this very big gravity feature. So given that the mineralisation here looks to be coincident with the gravity anomaly, that really does suggest there's a lot of upside potential here, and perhaps we are at the beginning of a new discovery at our Kenyatta Honda target as well. So we have results for holes 6 and 7 to report very soon. I expect those results will be out in the next couple of weeks. So very, very exciting, very promising new target, and just further emphasises the potential to make additional discoveries as we begin to test some of the many other targets we've got in the portfolio. So just to sort of start to summarise things, at the beginning of the year, we saw a number of potential catalysts for the share price. One was getting access to the extensions of our La Romana discovery, and I mentioned that access to the big farm to the west, where we're drilling at the moment. So we've ticked that box. We're also waiting for access to a big target called Bravo to the east. That's a very exciting looking target, and I expect we'll have the access to that farm sometime before the end of this year or early next year. We also expected to get positive results from the ongoing drilling at the La Romana discovery. We put out 2 batches of results, including some results just last week from La Romana, and that's continued to show that the deposit or potential deposit is growing and shows that it's open. So, very promising at this stage. And I mentioned the Romana West drill results. The first of those drill hole results will come out in the next couple of weeks. In addition to that, we're drilling other targets. So we saw the potential results from those drilling on new targets as being a potential price catalyst. And look, we may have a new discovery, as I mentioned, at our Kenyatta Honda target, and we'll be continuing to test new targets both through to the end of this year and next year. Another catalyst was the metallurgical test work, which is obviously, we've reported the copper metallurgy and excellent results there. We've got the tin metallurgy test results to come and to look forward to as well before the end of the year. In addition, we've got ongoing exploration, and we're generating new targets all the time and looking at other opportunities. And then looking further down the track, I think an important catalyst for us will be announcing our first mineral resource estimate for La Romana. So I expect that will be sometime in 2024, all going well. So just looking at our capital structure, we have about 200 million shares out, very strong insider ownership, about 9%. That's about 14% on a fully diluted basis. At the end of our last quarter, when we reported our financials, we had about 6 million in the bank. We've obviously been continuing to drill the project, but we've been fortunate. We've been in a strong, had a strong financial situation for a number of years. I should add that when we haven't needed to finance since mid-2021. At that time, we just drilled 40 holes at our La Romana discovery, and we did that financing at 60 cents. We now have 160 drill holes at our discovery. We've quadrupled the size of the deposit, the share price sitting around 30 cents. So I think there's plenty of upside here for investors in Pan Global, particularly as when the market starts to turn around, and as I expected will on the back of the exceptional demand for copper going forward. So in summary, I've really tried to position Pan Global as being one of the better investment opportunities, particularly in the copper space. we have an advanced copper project in a very stable, mining-friendly location, which is a real bonus these days. And it's something that could be brought into production relatively quickly, with near-surface open pinnable copper mineralization in an area with lots of infrastructure around us and other operators as well. So, we have a potential significant discovery and district potential with potential, as I showed, potential to make additional discoveries is very high. It's a great location. I think we're very well located, with other mining operations all around us. I think a big advantage as well, we have a very experienced board of directors and management team, including 2 mining engineers and a very team of 8 geologists on the ground. So we can take this project all the way from production right through to development. And look, I think we're on the right commodity. We're exploring for copper primarily, and we have the benefit of having other metals like tin and silver, etc., as well. So again, a big advantage for us. And look, our program for this year has been fully funded, and look, we've got a very exciting time ahead of us, and I think we're uniquely positioned and offer a lot of potential for investors.